Legacy in Motion is brought to you by BinaPavo, your sustainability, our business. Sunway Business School, fortune favors the prepared mind.
Hi, welcome to Legacy in Motion. I am Dr. Jesrina.
And I'm Dr. Leilanie, and today we have a very special guest all the way from Pakistan. It's Mr. Deen Sheikh, Managing Director of Progressive Traders Private Limited. So Deen, let's start. Yeah, all the way coming from Pakistan.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Dr. Leilanie and Dr. Jess.
Most welcome. So Deen, your company is named Progressive Traders. And beyond just name, what does progressive mean in the context of, a traditional industry like commodity trading, and how is this philosophy embedded into your company's daily operations?
So the way I see our organization, I'm the second generation there. We are a very progressive organization. We have come a long way from our early days as a wholesale commodity trading organization. Right now, we are also in manufacturing of consumer goods. So it took years for us to get there, but we made it happen. Before we went into consumer goods, we, for about 20 years, were distributors for Kodak Eastman Film in Pakistan as well, which is just before we entered the consumer goods segment.
Okay. So when it comes to the name Progressive Traders, it does state that the company has a vision of being a global leader. So how did you take the traditional heritage-based business you inherited, and how do you injected this progressive mindset?
See, the progressive mindset that I brought as a current generation into the business was that we need to have an open mind about accepting and embracing change. Gone are the days of the traditional brick and mortar business models. Before I came along in this organization, we did not have a human resource department. We did not have a functioning website. We did not have significant use of technology. So I have encouraged and brought in a lot of change, which has allowed us to be where we are right now. And I'm continuing to bring improvements and developments in the organization through the use of technology as well as innovation. And by innovation, we just don't mean innovation in technology or production, but processes. You could have innovative ways of how you're managing your staff. You could have innovative business practices as well. So progressive leads to innovative. Innovation can be more than just production and technology.
But in terms of changing people's mindset, to have this progressive mindset, what was the biggest hurdle that you faced in doing this?
The biggest hurdle is that you have to remember South Asian people like to play it safe. They are very traditional people, and there is a lot of resistance to change. The resistance to change isn't just an organizational thing unique to us. It's something that every family goes through. There is generally a lot of resistance to a lot of change that you see on a family level, and those families are people who are sending people to different organizations to work, and they are bringing the conservatism with them into the workplace. To manage that conservatism requires an effective strategy from change management. And my belief with regards to change management is, in order for it to be sustainable, it needs to be slow and organic, not haphazard and chaotic.
I do think that, change in itself, it's something all of us human beings are just so resistant to. But when we do change, it's beautiful. It's not just innovative. Change is always beautiful. That's my personal take on things. So you often speak about changing perceptions, and showcasing the true potential of Pakistan. So beyond just the quality of products or services that we talk about, what is the human story or the narrative about the people in Pakistan?
So the narrative about the people in Pakistan is that we are a resilient country despite all the hardships we have gone through. By some miracle, you could say we have managed to persevere. And you have to remember this is in line with our very, very laid back work attitude and work ethic that people in the subcontinent usually have. With a very laid back work ethic, we have somehow persevered. There is a term that is used in Pakistan a lot, as well as other countries in the region, jugaad, which means frugal innovations. We find frugal methods, ideas, and innovations on how to get through adversity, no matter what it might be.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, Deen, the company was founded in 1957.
53.
1953. Yeah. So I'm sure along the way, you've been instrumental, and you're very passionate about building success, and it's based on the foundation of trust, integrity, transparency. Perhaps you could share with us what are some of the principles that you instilled, not just among the employees, but certainly in the family. What are some of the core values that is inculcated throughout the family and organization?
So we as a family, as well as an organization, we take great pride in our work ethics and our sense of business morals. I mean, we can be like some of our competitors and bend around the rules, find loopholes. We have always had a philosophy that we're going to be transparent and engage in ethical work practices, and we try to replicate those work practices both at home as well as the office as well. Though the reality is that it's almost impossible to separate the two, so it's a fine line that you need to walk through.
Yeah. Does it differ as opposed to doing it domestically within Pakistan and as you go cross border internationally?
I don't quite follow your question.
I'm trying to say that in terms of your the core values, right? Do you find that there is a difference with regards to how you do that domestically and as you cross border internationally?
Yes, there is a lot of difference, because one thing I've realized, having been part of Progressive now for 15 years and having lived abroad for many years as well, things work very slowly in Pakistan. It is very hard to indoctrinate an ideology of work and time efficiency in people. If you're doing work in Pakistan, you're doing business in Pakistan, you should be mentally prepared to unlearn everything and relearn everything. Time is very fluid. Commitments are very fluid. What people say can mean anything and everything other than what is said on the surface value. So you need to be very patient as well. And in order to inspire change, you need to come up with a strategy how you can get people to adopt and embrace change. I've tried to bring in modern work ethics that some multinationals in Pakistan also practice, some work ethics that I've learned living and working abroad as well. I've tried to indoctrinate it. I've initiated the change process. It's still in progress. I can see my efforts bearing fruit in about 5 years' time.
Right. Maybe if I would like to extend a little bit, if you can share an example or a situation with us where you had to choose between the situation of making a decision to uphold your integrity, as a company, as a person.
See, as an organization, because of the economic climate in Pakistan, we went through a very rough patch, as a result of which people's purchasing power was hit as well. So we could have gone the way of some other businesses which participate in an informal economy. Those players from the informal economy have lower costs, lower overheads, and are able to sell in the market cheaper. If we had the option to do that, we chose not to. We decided a couple of years ago that we're going to do everything thoroughly and strictly by the book. We're going to have good governance. We're going to pay our taxes. We are going to do everything in compliance with law and order, even if it means having higher costs. It's our responsibility to figure out how to pass on those costs and still get our return on investment. But once we made the decision to do things in a very ethical, transparent and legal manner, there was no coming back. We could have taken the easy route and had some business operations informally and saved up. We chose not to do that.
Right, right.
Okay. So, Dean, you're very widely traveled, right? I mean, we've known each other for a couple of years now. You've joined our summit, the Asia Pacific Family Business Summit. This is your third year, and as you do those travels, and now the fact that you are the steward of this legacy at Progressive Traders, how do you personally define what legacy in motion is? And in terms of not just the business growth, but also how do you elevate Pakistan's profile, or even nurturing the next generation in your family?
So for me, a priority right now is succession planning, getting the next generation of not just family members ready, but also the staff ready for the onward decades to come. As far as Pakistan's global image is concerned, right now, we are not engaged in a lot of cross-border trade, international trade, but we do enjoy a terrific reputation with everyone we did business with in the past, be it from China, be it from Malaysia, be it from Turkey, be it from the UK or anywhere else in the world. As far as getting ready for the next generation is concerned, I initiated the process a few years ago by which we are going to have good, effective, sustainable governance in the organization. So the coming generation has a more stable and fairer playing field with which to work with. None of the complications that come with an informal business. Everything is being streamlined. Everything is going to follow to the rules. Good governance and good effective management of the organization is a priority. For me, I'm less focused on growth of a business. I'm more focused on consolidation. Anyone can grow the business. It takes more effort to grow and consolidate at the same time. So our focus is growth with consolidation, not massive rapid growth.
Okay.
All right. So just a little bit more about what really matters to you, Dean. So beyond all these shipments and contracts and businesses, right? Is it important for you to provide stability for your community, or is it the reputable legacy that you want to leave for the next generation? Or is there a deeper faith-based purpose?
See, for me, leaving a legacy is not the most important thing for me, because unlike a lot of other Asian people, I've historically not been a people pleaser. For me, it's not about legacy. It's more about creating something. It's more about building something that would benefit collectively my family for generations to come.
I want to touch on what you just said about you're not a people pleaser. Now, for us in Malaysia, and I believe a lot of the Asian countries, taking care of our the feelings of our siblings, our elderlies, our
family members,
and
friends.
beyond our partners and all that. It can be challenging. Because we have to make that decision, and you sometimes you have to be cruel in order to be kind, right? So how do you balance between making sure that you achieve the goal at the same time? You say you're not a people pleaser, but how do you balance that?
This is something you learn with time. You learn with experience what opinions you need to listen and entertain. Because sometimes there's wisdom in the opinions and advice of those who've come before you. At the same time, you also have to be mindful and intelligent enough to understand what is clutter. You can't please everyone, and you have to remember, the more people you listen to, the more opinions you are, and the more clutter there is, the more confusion there is. We talk often about talent management, recognizing the individual in your organization and building that individual. We too are the individual. You need to also have a responsibility to develop your own talent, your own abilities as a successful leader. No one's going to do that for you, but you become responsible for people down the hierarchy. So it is important that while you are developing other people in your organization to reach their potential, you are also harnessing your full potential, and that cannot be done if you're listening to every background noise out there in the form of every random opinion. For example, my father was a great business leader. A lot of people compare me to him. I am focused on ignoring the comparisons and building my own identity. I don't want a legacy, but I want an identity that is my own, something that I can be proud of. I'm not too particular about the legacy in the minds of other people, but legacy in my own mind, my own potential.
Yeah. I'm just going to ask another question, and I guess because Dean is putting a lot of question mark in my head, and also being able to identify what your talent is, right? Again, you say it comes with wisdom, yeah, but that means it comes with time, right? But if we look into, legacy, and sometimes with a family business, people tend to look up to the one before us, and in finding your identity, how do you manage to separate yourself instead of walking behind the shadow of, the one before you?
So in this case, my father was the one who was before me. His untimely death meant I had to fill in big shoes really fast. People who had already worked with me knew I was a very different human being, and I was a millennial, and given how much time I've spent with Gen Z, I've got a few Gen Z things about my personality as well. I've built my own work relationship with people in my organization, the head of departments, the senior managers, as well as other family managers. Some people may not like my work ethics and my style. For example, I'm not too obsessed with hierarchies. I think after you reach a certain age or you reach a certain position in the organogram, we are all pretty much equal unless you're the person at the top of the hierarchy.
Right.
And when you reach that level, which is almost at the top, we're all on an equal playing field. It's unfortunate that in Asian culture, age plays a very big role in determining your status. I say age does not matter. We are all adults over here. We can all coexist without this sense of entitlement. It's because of this sense of entitlement that many people older than us in organizations have, which leads to counterproductive waste of time and not enough decision making done strategically in an effective manner.
Yeah. Yes.
I would like
Thank
to
you, yeah.
go back a little bit
Yeah.
where you talked about, how we want to look at ourselves and build our own capabilities, right? So in my school, I remember my headmaster used to say this back then. He used to say, don't ask what the school can do for you. Ask yourself what you can do for the school. And I know it sounds like, he's throwing it back to us, but it's actually building character. That's part of building character, and I thought that was very inspiring.
Was this your headmaster?
Yes.
He's probably inspired by John F. Kennedy.
Probably. But as a young girl, that was very inspiring. I thought that to make me think at that point in time, and as inspiring as that is, for a young entrepreneur in Malaysia or in Pakistan or in any part of the world, what is the journey that has inspired you, and would you like to share, and that was going to build a business that can last generations?
My advice to the next generation or the youth of today that wants to be an entrepreneur, that wants to build a business, is that make sure that you have good governance, good discipline, good rule of law. You have a business constitution, a rule book from the early days. They will serve as a guiding principle to keep everyone in check and make sure there is accountability for everyone. Especially if it's a family business, you need to have accountability for family members. You can't pick and choose who gets to be held accountable, who doesn't. You also need to be very watchful of your expenses. You need to watch out for the family member that fabricates business trips just to go on a holiday abroad. I'm guilty of doing that, but
Yeah.
I am very critical of that. Whoever does that now, that I was also younger at the time, so my advice to those is that stumble if you have to, make mistakes if you have to. You will learn, you will grow, but always have discipline from the very get go. Sure, you might not be perfect at it, but try to have it as soon as you start your business. Like I said, good governance comes from good discipline. Try to incorporate good governance as soon as you have your feet on the ground. You figured things out.
And just to continue with that, right? And we were talking a little bit about millennials and Gen Zs and all. Again, on the young entrepreneurial journey, right? What is the advice on balancing between tradition, culture, and then innovation and change? How can they balance it at this stage?
See, a lot of Gen Z, a challenge with them is they want authoritative positions, leadership positions early on. Millennials were probably the last generation that submitted blindly to authority. In order to inspire innovation and change in them, you need to be the change you want to inspire in them. And at the same time, you need to be very patient with the young generation, be it millennials, be it Gen Z, and watch them embrace the change. If you try to nag them so much about change, especially Gen Z is going to say, "What's your boundaries? Respect my boundaries." Do you not understand what boundaries are? So this is something that I've learned from Gen Z as well. I'm very strict about boundaries. See, in a lot of Asian cultures, concept of modern boundaries does not exist. That's a topic for another day. But as far as inspiring Gen Z and millennials are concerned, you need to lead by example. You just can't say them, this is good work ethic, this is how you should inspire change, this is how you should be strategic and make strategic decisions, this is how you should be a risk taker. You need to show them, you need to show and tell how it's done.
Okay.
So this character that you have, and I mean that in a very positive, inspiring way. Is that molded through mostly at home in Pakistan and how business is being done? As you see how your family does it, your uncles and your father does it, or is that a combination of you being educated overseas? Or a combination?
See, I would say my personality, my behavior, the person I am today has less to do with my family because I kind of grew up distant from them, having lived abroad for so long, and given that I did not have age mates, so I kind of grew up distant from my family. So if anything, I would say the last 10 to 15 years of my life have shaped and evolved me as the person I am. A little credit goes to my foreign education. A little credit goes to the hardship I had to face during my last 1 year abroad. A lot of contribution actually goes to the very incredible and amazing people that I've met over the years. I've met some really inspiring, hardworking people. A lot of credit goes to my friends who've shown tremendous loyalty and have stood by me through thick and thin. Some of my friends are very prominent members of the business community. I turn to them for guidance whenever I stumble across a block or something, whenever I find obstacles on my way, I turn to them. I draw a lot of confidence from people who believed in me. There was a time when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, people wrote me off as a complete failure, but there were people who stuck by me, told me that my script is mine alone. My time hasn't come. My time will come. If I'm not tasting success at 30, by the time I'm 40, it might be a different story. And I shouldn't be harsh on myself because everyone's life is different and everyone's moment of success comes at a different point in time.
Wow. I'm inspired by you, listening to what you're saying.
Thank you.
And to some extent, I feel like there is an old soul inside you. Yeah. Again, perhaps it's you're well traveled. You're well educated, and you believe in who you are, right? Yeah. So
I've always respected my individuality as far as the old soul is concerned. It depends on who you ask. There are people who think I'm an immature teenager. There are those who think I'm still mentally stuck in my 20s, my college days. But the way I see it, my slow process in life, slow progress throughout my 20s and 30s allowed me to build and develop a personality that is uniquely myself. I don't consider myself conservative or liberal or a leftist or a rightist. I consider myself me. I don't have to have an opinion on everything. Over the years, I learned how to build confidence, how to start believing in myself. I learned what good boundaries are. So I've learned a lot of things over a lot of years. By the time I reached towards my late 30s, I became a person that I was proud of. I looked back at my life and I could say I'm proud of where I've come with the challenges that I faced, and I'm glad I've met the people who've been part of this journey.
yeah, wonderfully said. Uniquely Deen.
Yes, Deenism matters.
All right.
Yes.
So, looking back at these values that you have and you carry, right? How can you or how have you consciously translated this, like loyalty and respect and patience, into a formal or policies within progressive traders?
Basically, my rule to my head of departments and senior managers are: you give respect, you get respect. In my organization, it doesn't matter if you are the peon that brings the cup of tea in the morning or you're the head of the department. For me, you're all human beings. These are unnecessary labels that we attach, and this is what I'm trying to communicate to the whole organization. Doesn't matter if you're a management trainee, doesn't matter if you're the head of marketing, doesn't matter if you're the head of production, doesn't matter if you're the tea boy. We are all, doesn't matter if you're the receptionist. We are all human beings. We all have the same needs for love, dignity, respect, appreciation. Age, gender, community, caste, race does not matter. We need to start seeing people from a human point of view, as humans only. That is what I try to communicate to everyone. For example, a society like Pakistan is very patriarchal in nature. What I tell people whenever I meet people in events and conferences: don't see the person as male or female or any other gender. See the person as a human being. Doesn't matter if your name is Ali or Aisha. You are a human being with the same skills, abilities as anyone else. Your gender has no relevance. Your age has no relevance. Your background has no relevance to what you can and cannot achieve.
All right. So, maybe just to continue from there, what do you see your ultimate competitive advantage is for progressive traders?
So for progressive traders, for us, our competitive advantage is a good, strong, solid work ethics, which we take great pride in. We haven't gone around beating the bush like some of our competitors, some of the other businesses in the country. We have always maintained fair, honest, ethical work practices even after several decades. Even in a very tough competitive market, we have chosen to make tough choices and stick with our ethics, even though some of those choices have been very costly.
Yeah.
So, one last question.
Yes.
This incredible journey that you've had, as well as this incredible story of progressive traders, what would be the next milestone looking back? Yeah.
The next milestone for me would be that I have successfully completed the transition of what progressive today is into a well-governed, well-managed, systematic and well-run organization. So it is simpler for the next generation to carry on. Think of it as, updating the software of your computer or your device so that it's easier to use. Think of it like that. I'm trying to update the operating system of the organization, to put it in a nutshell. Because now I have a son as well. He might be interested to be part of the business 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
So, to give him that safe option, I am trying to create an organization which runs efficiently and smoothly, where there's no nepotism, everyone is accountable, where things are run in a systematic order, where there's efficient decision making, there are not unnecessary delays and challenges that we currently face while we are going through the transition. Also, it's an organization which is effectively an equal opportunity organization, where I see greater participation from women in the family as well. Right now, there are not that many women from the family who are active participants in the organization, because they've grown up in a different time. They've grown up in an era when not many women in Pakistan went to university, not many women entered the workforce, so they have chosen themselves to be homemakers. I'm hoping the next generation of women don't see that there is a obstacle in their way. They see that it doesn't matter, our gender does not matter, our skills, our ability matters. If we can contribute to progressive and be integral, useful assets, why not? Doesn't matter what our gender is. Only thing that should matter is we are human and we have abilities.
And on a personal level, what's your next milestone on a personal level?
My personal milestone is that we diversify the business in the future. Diversification can come in the form of alternative businesses as well, or growing our production portfolio as well. Right now, not all of our products are made in-house. Some of them are being manufactured by third-party manufacturers who do OEM for us. For me, the personal milestone is get as much local production on our premises and lay the foundations for diversification of the business as well going forward.
Okay.
Right.
So it's been a wonderful conversation that we've had, in the past, I say half an hour. You'll be flying back to Pakistan tomorrow. I wish you a safe journey back home.
Thank you, Dr. Leilanie.
Yeah, and we certainly look forward to seeing you again next year.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so, Jess?
So thank you so much for your time, Mr. Deen.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Jess, Dr. Leilanie.
Most welcome.
So this is
Legacy in Motion.
Legacy in Motion with Dr. Leilanie and Dr. Jess.
Bye.